What's up, guys? We are on episode 16 now. Episode 15 is all just audio only. Like I said, if you listen to it on the SoundCloud or the iTunes, had a weird trying to switch over from the HP to the Mac and did not, wasn't able to figure out the video on that, so I do apologize. But we are on episode 16 now. So what's up? It's been a while. Man, it's been a long while, and I beat myself up over that because I really do have time to make these throughout the week. I could do at least one a week, if not two. But I don't know. I still get stage fright, I guess, or I just feel unsure about what I want to talk about or if anybody really cares. But not that I really care that people care. But some people, do ask when the next one's dropping and stuff. So I know I shouldn't feel any pressure or anything, but sometimes I just don't feel like doing it too. Whether that be just for whatever reasons or I don't know. So, but we are back. Let's try and get on track. Try and get on track with it. I ain't gonna make any guarantees, but I'm gonna start pumping these out. As much as I want to, I guess I should say. So, hope you stick with me through the ups and the downs and all the missed podcast time. So, I just need to get down and pencil it in, pen it into my schedule every week, and sit down and just do one at least once a week. So, try and stay on me with it. But we're back, back and better than ever, I should say. Shout out to this sweet Fortnite t-shirt I got at Goodwill. I have to represent. Yes, I do play Fortnite. Yes, I know some of the dances. And yes, I know other adults that play it too. In my defense, the game is free, so I am not paying anything to play it. And yes, it is fun to play. So just got that out there. Shout out to that Fortnite tee. Got to represent those. So what's been up last time? I talked about my adventure to the Goodwill where I used the women's restroom instead of the men's on accident. So if you haven't listened to that, go back, iTunes, SoundCloud. It's audio only, episode 15. But it's a pretty funny story of my trials and tribulations of managing a rest room in a Goodwill. So check that out if you haven't. It's short, it's sweet. What else has been up? So just been working, really. I mean, grinding all my life, student loans are about ready to kick in. So yeah, next month the old student loan gives me that right uppercut right to the gut, to the liver. So the student loans will be kicking in, and if you're a fellow classmate of MSOT 18 at Allen College, your student loans are probably coming up as well. So if you haven't got on that, make sure you check it out. The Grim Reaper has arrived, and the student loans have arrived. So shout out to everyone with student loans. My plan is to pay as little as I can until the economy collapses or the government decides to bail us all out with our student loans. So that's my plan. Let me know what your plan is. Some people want to pay it off aggressively. Others don't have a plan. Others just tell me what to pay, when to pay it. But I've got a lot of it. So shout out to student loan debt. And it's coming for me next month. So that'll make a pretty big dent in my wallet, So it will. So, but would I do it all again? Yeah, I probably would. Going to school, not only my first time, but my second time through to get my master's. It's, where do I want to go with this? If I could go back and redo everything with school after high school, knowing what I know now and knowing where I want to be now and what I want to do, I'm an occupational therapist now, so there's occupational therapists, there's certified occupational therapist assistants. The CODA, or the assistant, OTA, occupational therapist assistant. Their job is very similar to the OT. The only difference is the occupational therapy does evaluations with the patient. They can, um, do the evaluations, the initial evaluations, and that's pretty much in a nutshell all we do more than CODAs sometimes. And I know I might get some hate from that, but I've worked with some great CODAs who have taught me so much, and I know they've been in the field longer than me. But skill wise, if you're in the world, I should say, of healthcare, and you're a CODA with 2 years of schooling, and you're an occupational therapist with 7 or 8 years of schooling, 6 or 7 years of schooling, and I'm a new grad, and the CODA's been doing it for 20 years. Yes, let's not cut ourselves short, but there's a lot of great CODAs out there, and are very, very smart and been in the game a while. So shout out to all those ladies. But where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So if I could go back and do it again, right now I'm an occupational therapist, fully licensed, straight up out the gate. No limitations as far as occupational therapy wise. So that's that's a 4 or 5, about a 7 to 8 year commitment, depending on the schooling you're out. If you mess up, if you take a semester off, if you take summers off, anywhere from, you could probably do it in 6 to 8 years. So depending on that. So my point, if I could go back in time, I would, straight out of high school, I would get my associates and become an occupational therapist assistant. Now, the OTAs, that's about a 2.5 year degree. It's an associate's arts degree. They're eventually going to make it to a bachelor's degree, blah, 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 blah. But you can do it at most community colleges, at least in Iowa. Not sure about here in Oregon, but, you're doing a lot of the same work. Less paperwork for sure, and you're spending the most time with the patient. Yeah, you don't get paid as compensated as well, but then again, if you do that CODA route, that assistant route, you're not having a ton of student debt either. So if I could go back in time, I would get my 2-year degree, be a CODA, hit the streets running, working hard, and not having any student debt. That being said, with a CODA, you can do travel therapy. You can work PRN. You can still make not as much as an OT, but pretty damn close. And then you don't have those student loans coming out as well. Granted, there are benefits to being an occupational therapist. Along with a CODA, you can travel as a traveling OT, and you can make great money as a traveling OT, great money as a traveling OTA or assistant. But the amount of student loans you accrue, I mean, it can be pretty staggering to get that master's degree. But I'm glad I did it. I wouldn't be where I'm at without it. It was a crazy path to get to that point. I didn't even know what occupational therapy was 3.5 years ago, and now I'm an occupational therapist. So very strange, weird arc of my life. Going back to school, I always knew I wanted to get my master's in something. So happens my future professor, was taking one of the classes I was teaching, the exercise classes, and talked me into it. So shout out to Margot, and a shout out to occupational therapy. But if I have kids, which I will probably in the next 0 to 10 years, and they were getting ready to go to college. Say, you got a family, a niece, a nephew, a brother or sister that's getting ready to go into college. What would I tell them if they're getting ready? They're a senior in high school. They don't know what they want to do yet. I would tell them to go the community college route, knock out 2 years, take a bunch of different courses, take some health science courses, take some reading or math or teaching or coaching or what else, tech classes, numbers, computers, those kind of things. Try and take as many different classes as you can in those first 2 years at a community college, and kind of figure out what you're going to do. during that 2 years, whatever you're interested in, this is what I would tell them. I would say, if you're interested at working at Bill's Refrigerator Repair, we'll call up Bill's Refrigerator Repair. Say, hey, can I come shadow you for a day, see what the day's like, what the job's like, and really hear from the people. That's one of the things that I wish I would have done younger in my life before I went to school, was actually job shadow. And I know there's probably people that were way more responsible than me at my time, because really when you go straight out of high school, you just want to go and drink with your buddies every weekend and do all that fun stuff, which is great, very great. And I'm very grateful for all those times. But yeah, I would tell these kids coming up to just do some job shadowing. You never, a lot of the things in your mind nowadays, especially with social media and Instagram, Facebook, everything else, all these jobs look so glamorous and so easy. And while it's easy to be an Instagram influencer, there's only so many of those out there. So shout out to those people. But I would say just do a lot of job shadowing and call people and, say, hey, I'm interested in this. And usually most of the time, if someone's interested in you or what you do, you kind of get jacked up to talk to them about it, unless you really hate your job. But if you can find those people in jobs that you may potentially like, that are passionate about it and can kind of get you excited about it, you never know what you're going to stumble on. So I'd tell these kids coming up, getting ready for school, is just get those first kind of 2 years of general education down at a community college. Don't pay those high loans amounts. Try and work your butt off and pay for as much college as you can while you can. But still leave some time for partying on the weekends, because you got to do that when you're young. Yeah, do some job shadows and try a bunch of different stuff. And one of the things I wish I would have done too is maybe moved or traveled a little bit when I was a little bit younger. Right out of high school, you're broke, you're working, usually a pretty crappy job, nights and weekends. You can't really take much time off to travel and stuff like that. But I think that would have changed a lot, and a lot of my perspectives on things if I were to travel. Not saying I'm any world traveler in any capacity, but I think traveling, for a summer or 3 or 4 times a year and just seeing what's out there, seeing how other people are living and how many different ideas there are out there. It's very different here in Portland than what I grew up with for 28 years in Iowa. Very different, but a lot of the same. People are people, and here is just it's a great place to live. It has its downfalls, like every city and every area of the country, but it's so far so good. So get out there, explore. See some stuff. Definitely don't spend your money on bull crap like TVs for your 1-bedroom and your 4-bedroom house with dudes. You guys only need one TV. Let someone else bring their TV in and just mooch off them. Like, don't spend money on those kind of stupid things when you're young, when you could spend that $800 on 2 plane tickets to Alaska and then to Mexico or something like that. That would have been my advice to myself. Yeah, but we did a little bit of traveling when I was younger. We did a little bit of traveling. I remember one time it was the Orange Bowl, football Orange Bowl, and the Iowa Hawkeyes were playing Georgia Tech, and it was in the Orange Bowl in Miami. And so at the time, it's still somewhere, I had a black 4-door 1994 Honda Civic, the little black street racer edition. And me, a couple, and 3 of my other buddies took off right after Christmas. Maybe it was after New Year's too. And we drove from northeast Iowa through like a cold vortex all the way down to Miami. And we did it straight, and I think it was 26 or 27 hours. We left one night and drove through the night, drove through the whole next day, and then we got to Miami at like 11 o'clock, and we couldn't check into our hotel till like 10 the next morning, so we slept at Denny's parking lot in Miami, which was super comfortable considering we'd been in the car the last or the full day and the night before. And we drove straight through. We only stopped like a couple times to pee and to go to Waffle Stop, but pretty much drove straight through and then had to sleep in the car until the next morning. And then we were so broke too. Like there was 4 of us and we were only staying 2 nights, but we literally, I don't know what website we used, but we found the cheapest motel that was on the beach in Miami. So you're like, okay, it is on the beach. It will be fine. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm from Iowa. As long as it's on the beach, whatever, dude. If it's cheap, we're going to get it because, on the beach, you always see HGTV. Everything's expensive on the beach. So we rolled the dice and we got to the hotel. And, first off, the reviews were under 2 stars, I believe. I think 1.9 was the rating. Most of the reviews were 0 stars, or like, I don't think you could do 0 stars, so maybe 1 star at the time. A couple of the reviews was like third world country. And then like all the other, it was like, oh, this place sounds pretty sketchy, but it's like $60 a night. That's on the beach in Miami. So let's roll with it. So anyways, we spent the night at a Denny's parking lot across from our hotel that we couldn't check into till 10 o'clock in the morning. So 10 o'clock rolls around. We're just like twiddling our thumbs because we can't sleep in the stupid little Honda Civic, and there's 4 of us in there. And like we didn't even bring like pillows and blankets and stuff because we're like, oh, we're just going to drive straight through. So finally we get to check into the hotel. And they didn't even speak English. So they didn't even speak English. We're trying to check into this hotel. We're like driving around, like, cause it's like one where you kind of like park up by the door and walk in. It's not like a nice one where you walk in. It's like a big palace with fountains and stuff like that. You kind of just drive up to kind of your door and park. So we were like driving around, like, damn, like which room's ours? And like there's like caution tape on like across the doors and like windows broken out. And we're like, okay, this is a little sketchy. It's probably a little sketchy. We paid $60, but we're on the beach, dude. We're on the beach. We're only here like 2 nights. Like how bad could it be? And so we end up, my buddy Nate somehow gets our room through translation or something, and we get the keys to our room. So we go to our room, and it's pretty gross. It's not terrible. I mean, because we are poor college dudes at this time, so a Super 8's like nice, but this was pretty bad. I honestly don't even remember much about it. It was so bad, but it was pretty gross. The shower was pretty nasty. The beds were like dirty. None of the staff spoke English. Like if you tried to ask them for towels, they would just be like, give you one of those, and you're like, well, I can't speak Spanish or whatever, so we didn't like get any towels. But we were on the beach, so we enjoyed that. We went on the beach. We were the only people on the beach because it was end of December and everyone there was like in sweaters and like winter coats in Miami because it was like 65 degrees, and we were like coming from a polar vortex in Iowa the night before, and it was sunny and 60, so we were out on the beach just chilling. So that was a lot of fun. Anyways, we go to the Rose Bowl. Long story short, did a little bit of traveling. We went to Myrtle Beach too. Me and pretty much the same group of guys went there. Still not 21 both these times. Not 21, but we brought alcohol to Myrtle Beach when we went to Myrtle Beach, and then when we were in Miami, we actually parked next to this guy tailgating that gave us all free beers. So that was kind of nice. What else? So yeah, we went to my. I don't remember how I got started on this, but travel. Oh yeah, so travel when you're younger. But anyways, we went. The next time I traveled when I was younger, and this was all pre-21, so I was pre-21 during this. So none of us could buy alcohol. Can't remember if one of us had a fake or not. But so the next adventure, we go to Myrtle Beach, which is in South Carolina. It's about 16, 17-hour drive, I think. And I don't know why we picked Myrtle Beach. I think I had some say in it, just because I was internet researching it and stuff. But yeah, we went to Myrtle Beach for our second adventure it was 3 of the same dudes. So anyways, same thing. My little black Honda, 94 Honda Civic, drove out, left early or late one night, drove through the night, got to Myrtle Beach, hung out on the beach and stuff like that. And then I think we brought I think we were going to be there 2 or 3 days. That's it. We're so poor. We're we could only take off 2 days from our part-time jobs. So we're going to be there for I think we drove 1 day there, spent 2 nights there, and then drove back. So yeah. Anyways, we stayed at this pretty crappy hotel. It wasn't as crappy. The coldest AC I ever remember, which was kind of funny because we just leave it blaring and that would be ice cold there when we got back to the motel. Anyways, we go to Myrtle Beach and we bring I think I alone brought a bottle of Jägermeister and a bottle of Yukon Jack because I wanted to do Jaeger bombs and then have some Yukon Jack too, which both those bottles for 2 nights is way too much when you're that age. So we all brought some fists of rum, and I brought the Jaeger bombs because I was super into Jaeger bombs back then. And then yeah, we were all drinking and stuff, and Myrtle Beach is really touristy, when you go somewhere and they have the shops that have all the touristy t-shirts, the button-up Hawaiian ones, and the mugs that say Myrtle Beach Party City or something like that. And then so yeah, we get to Myrtle Beach, and yeah, we're gonna be there 2 nights max, 3 days, 2 nights. And yeah, we brought a bunch of alcohol. We went to the beach, which was a lot of fun. And I was like, dude, let's go to the clubs here. Because I had just gone out for the first time, probably a month before that, in Iowa City at the Summit in Iowa City. I don't know if it's still there, but that was the first bar I ever went to post high school. Because back then in Iowa City, you could go to the bars if you were under 21. So I remember I was visiting my buddy Clay, and we went to the Summit, and I was life changing. Because it was first time you go to a bar, and all I thought bars and clubs were all I got my information from was Night at the Roxbury, the movie with Will Ferrell. So I was dude, I hope it's the Night at the Roxbury. And it was kind of the old Summit. I don't know if it's still there, but it's 2 stories, and you walk up and there's a spot for people to hold on to a ledge and dance while they look down at the dance floor, and there's spots for people to dance on and stuff. And then one of Clay's, I think, roommates had a fake ID from Germany or something. And so yeah, that was the first ever bar I went to post high school / club. I wasn't 21, but it was still legal, and I did drink that night. I don't remember how much, but I feel we had Jaeger bombs too. But yeah, that was a good memory. So Summit, shout out to Summit in Iowa City. First bar I ever went to. So how did I get off that? Oh yeah, so I was in Myrtle Beach, we were I was let's go to the clubs, because the clubs in Iowa City were pretty cool, but this is Myrtle Beach, world famous, golf, and I think we went to an aquarium. But I was dude, the clubs here are probably insane. And this was probably, I don't even remember when this was. It was It was probably like April 4th or something, like not spring break, not summer, or something like some dead zone time in Myrtle Beach. And I was like, dude, they're probably so crazy. Myrtle Beach clubs are so crazy, probably. Um, so backtrack just a minute. I wanted to go to the clubs way back in Myrtle Beach. When we got there, we went to, it was either a Denny's or a IHOP or one of like a Perkins or something like that. And we ate a lot of food because we were hungry and we had just driven all night. So we go get breakfast. And then as we get out of the breakfast thing, like we're from a small town. We haven't been out of town, obviously, that much. That's why I say young people should travel. And take some notes on this one because this is a mistake you can make it when you're younger. So we get out of the Denny's and like in like our town, we're not used to people like standing there like handing out flyers or like, hey, come to this thing here, or, hey, ladies tonight and stuff like that. So we got a stripper for that night. I just kidding. No, we did not. But this guy was handing out flyers for SunCruz Aquasino, and it was a cruise ship with a casino with a bomb buffet, like good food. This is what it said on the flyer. So we get out and they're like, and the guy, he wasn't probably making anything, but he's like, do come to the Aquasino tonight. Like, the maiden voyage is tonight. Like, you guys should go. There's going to be ladies there. All the ladies there are like, well, we're not 21. He's like, that's okay. Just come, get on the buffet and like blah, blah, blah. And we weren't 21 yet, so we couldn't gamble or we couldn't buy alcohol. And we would be on this floating boat. I think it lasted 5 hours. And none of us knew if we would get seasick either. So for whatever reason, and it's funny every time we talk about it. This is before I think I went to the club. So one of the nights, I don't know how many nights we were there, 2 or 3 nights. We go on this SunCruz Aquasino. And I hope it's still, I'm going to Google it actually right now. I hope it still exists. Because I bet there's some cool cruise Aquasino Myrtle. Sometimes I don't even know. Oh, well, it comes up as the Big M Casino ship. Oh, wait, hold on. SunCruz Casino is not currently available. Okay, so let me read this. Description of the SunCruz Aquasino, and this is on TripAdvisor. The most exciting casino action in the Carolinas returns on an exciting 5-hour gaming cruise. So I was right. It was about 5 hours. Join us on board the 155 long Jacks or better, proudly flying the United States flag. Very patriotic. Take home your share of the huge slots payouts today and rake in the winnings on all your favorite table games. It's a safe bet for golfers looking for swinging fun beyond the course. I don't know what that means. It's safe bet for golfers looking. Oh, okay. Like if they're looking for more, because there's a lot of golf courses in Myrtle Beach. Where is it? Okay. And then it just goes on to say, like, we got blackjack, we got poker, Texas Hold'em, exciting roulette, craps, sports book wagering, and then it says full course lunch or dinner, depending on you. And we're going for dinner and live entertainment. It says there too. So check that out, SunCruz Aquasino. The guy sells us. We're gullible young people. He sells us people who can't gamble, can't drink, to go onto this floating casino for 5 hours in the Atlantic Ocean, which sounds kind of sweet. Sounds pretty Titanic-y. So for some reason we weren't thinking at all because he got us with the free meal. We're like, well, dude, it's a free meal. Like, and I think it costs like $10 for the tickets to go on. We're like, dude, it'd be cool. We'll be on like a boat, free meal, and like maybe some chicks will be there or something like that. But we can't gamble and we can't drink, so I'll have to see what's going on. So we get on, we like rush. We almost like miss the departure of the boat, but we get on and like as soon as we step on, they like pulling the like thingy up and like shutting the gate, and we're like, damn, dude, we're stuck here. Because initially when we got there, we kind of like surveyed the whole area and like went up and down all the floors. Like, I don't know, man, maybe we should leave. Like, I don't know if it'd be that cool. Like, definitely, well, let's just wait it out. And then like as we were like going to like walk out, and like, oh yeah, we'll probably leave, they were like pulling up the door, and it was like, so we were like, oh shit, we can't get out now. So it was just us four on this giant cruise ship in Myrtle Beach, that can't gamble, can't drink, and is a 5-hour long commitment. I think this was on like a Thursday or Friday night, like prime night for us to like go to the clubs, which is what I wanted, but I didn't do it. So get on the SunCruz Aquasino on Myrtle Beach. We take off. Dinner's going to be served in a half an hour. Whenever, please make your seat in the dining hall. Dinner will be served, the all you can kind of eat buffet. And we're like, okay, sweet. I mean, at least we get like a meal, like a good meal, and like chilling on the boat and stuff like that. Like we can't gamble or we can't drink, but at least we get like a meal, and maybe we can get some like pop or something. Definitely knew we made a mistake at this point. So the meal comes, and it's a lot worse than your kid's school lunch, or if you remember school lunch. It was pretty much that minus, like, every once in a while for school lunch, if you got the hot lunch, the regular lunch, not the a la carte, but if you had the regular lunch, every once in a while a good hitter would come around, like Bosco sticks, or something good like the chicken sandwich or something, or like the Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes that you were like, ooh, I'll get a double lunch. But then there's times that come around and you get like the whatever, something like cottage cheese soup or salad or something like that, and like nobody wants it, or like the McRib version of the school lunches, and like nobody wants it unless you're a serial killer. It was like that on the SunCruz Aquasino. It was the school lunch that you don't want, that you're like, damn, I can't afford a la carte today, but I'll just like get 2 milks instead of eating this lunch because I really don't want it. So they come out, and it was probably like turkey and mashed potatoes below school lunch grade. So we're like, God damn, this sucks. Like, and then the dessert came out, and it was like this white cake or chocolate cake, white or chocolate cake, can't remember, and it had white frosting on it. And the white frosting was, we thought it was sunscreen because we were on a cruise ship in the ocean. It tasted just like sunscreen. It looked just like sunscreen. So we had fun with that because it was so terrible. It was kind of like the frosting was sunscreen on the SunCruz Aquasino. So the one thing we could have enjoyed like was the free like buffet meal, and it was terrible. I don't even remember if they had pop. I think they had some Lay's chips later on in the night that we like took a bunch of bags. Anyway, so we were like, okay, well, let's just walk around. It was like 2 floors big, all gambling that we couldn't do. Luckily, no one was like, oh, you can't be here. Like, I don't know why they let people under 21 onto this cruise ship. Like, why? Like, when they looked at our IDs, why wouldn't they just be like, oh, you're not 21, you can't drink or gamble, why are you here? I just thought of that, and it's really kind of frustrating now that I think of it. Like, if I was the guy working the docks, I'd be like, why do you guys want to be on this SunCruz Aquasino? You can't gamble, you can't drink. We have the shittiest food on earth. Why would you spend your night here? But they got us. I think we paid $10 each, so it's $40 that they made. Definitely won't do it again. And on top of all that, the excitement of the casino, the cruise ship, lasted a good 4 minutes as we walked up and down and decided to leave, but the door was shutting. So that lasted all 4 minutes. It was a 5-hour trip. Everyone in my crew got a little bit of seasick. We were laying like on the benches, like, I'm so sick. This was back like when phones didn't have internet really. I think one of us had a phone that you could get on the internet, but like you didn't bring your charger with you or nothing like that. You were just like, oh my God, we still have like 5 hours left. It was probably the worst 5 hours. It sucked so bad at the time. I was so pissed. And it got done at like midnight too. So like once we were done, we're like, dude, I hate my life. Like I've been eating sunscreen, freaking sunscreen cake the last 5 hours and like rationing off my Lay's potato chips because they're the only thing that like tastes somewhat good. And I haven't even like, I'm parched, I'm seasick. You know, I didn't even know you could get seasick on a cruise ship, but you do. So that was like the worst 5 hours. And afterwards we're just like, I think it was pretty quiet in the ride home. We're just like, dude, like one of those. Just all mad. I think we went to bed. So that we wasted literally one night in Myrtle Beach just at this SunCruz Aquasino. And man, that place sucks. So shout out to the SunCruz Aquasino. It'd probably be more fun now, but actually it would probably be suckier now. I would definitely not recommend it. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. So shout out to the SunCruz Aquasino. So the next night I was like, dude, we got to go to the clubs. And the people I were with were kind of like, oh no, let's just hang out here. We got all this booze here. You know, let's just hang out at the hotel. We got the pool. We got the beach. And I was like, dudes, let's go to the clubs. I didn't come, we didn't drive 16 hours to not go to the clubs. So I was like, I took like 4 shots, 5 shots, 6 shots, 7 shots. And I was like, dude, I'm leaving. And I get out of the hotel and we were kind of like right on like there's like how there's a road and then like some houses in the ocean. It's probably like the Strip or whatever, Myrtle Beach. So we were kind of like right on that. So I got on that and started walking. Luckily, one of my buddies was like, we should probably like follow him. So he like followed me. And by the time I was like a block down the street, I was like blackout drunk. And I was just like, let's go to as many clubs as we can. And he was like he was pretty much like Secret Service on me because like he was following me, but like at a distance and like talking me out of things. And so anyways, I wanted to go to the club. Finally get to go to the club. I was like, dude, I saw a flyer for a foam party and there's a foam pit there. It's going to be lights, DJs. Like I'm thinking MTV Spring Break, Myrtle Beach 2009, 2010, dude. Foam pit, Myrtle Beach, girls. I just took a couple Jaeger bombs. Let's do it. Like I'm riding to the gates right now. So we go to whatever bar that has or whatever club has the foam pit. And it kind of looks like a McDonald's with the playpens and like how, there's the restaurant, like the lounge, the club area. And then there's like the netting kind of, and then like the foam pit, which looks like an old volleyball court, but it was like foam like to the ceiling and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, yeah. So we get into this club. It's not very poppin' at all. There's not very many people there. It's pretty urban club, if you know what I mean. And we are not very urban at the time or very hip. And we couldn't buy drinks because we weren't 21. So I go into the foam pit caged out area. And it's like watching someone walk into a cornfield and like after like a few rows, you're like, whoa, where'd they disappear to? And that was me into the foam pit. And I was like, I just remember like walking and like there'd be like someone there. But there was like probably 3 or 4 people in this huge foam pit because everyone was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Look, because I don't want to get wet, and it's stupid. It's like a Tuesday night in Myrtle Beach. Why would anybody do the foam pit? Um, but I didn't know that you got wet from the foam pit. So when you walk in, those bubbles are real and they have water in them. So when you walk out of the foam pit, you're wet. Neck down, you're wet. And you look so stupid. And so I was soaking wet from the foam pit, but I was still way excited that we went to the club and went to the foam pit. And I was like, dude, let's get out of here. Like, I'm only going to places that doesn't like charge cover. Because I'm so cheap that I don't want to pay $5 to get in somewhere. So I don't even remember if we went anywhere else. I think I was just walking and saw some random guy who didn't have a shirt and went with him and bought a t-shirt. I didn't buy it, but he did, which is probably good because he didn't have a shirt. And then, yeah, I think we walked back and hung out in the room until I passed out immediately. So, yeah, that was Myrtle Beach. And roundabout way of saying, when you get done with high school, I think you should do some traveling, some real traveling, and do some traveling on your own, maybe. It's definitely scary, but as long as you have a home base to come back to, I think you should be fine. So I would tell myself, make sure you do some traveling, get those general education. That's 2 years of thinking and doing. Do as much different courses that you didn't think you would do all those courses, dip your toe in a little bit of everything, try not to accrue a lot of student loans, 2-year degree. What was the other one? Travel, 2-year degree. Oh, and do a lot of job shadowing. If you're interested in something, do a little bit of job shadowing, and yeah, you'd be set. So if you know any, I mean, that could go for anybody too, not just high school kids. If you don't like what you're doing now, I think the fastest way is to just jump into what you want to do next, and don't be afraid to go back to school. Don't be afraid to take one of your days off and go shadow someone else. And I think we should always be looking for the better opportunity. Loyalty is great and all, but I don't think some things you should be as loyal as, especially when it comes to your career and everything. I think, you should always be on the lookout for what's next. And, if you're happy where you're at, you're happy where you're at. But if you do want something else, if you do want something different, I think we should always, and this is something I struggle with, is try and find it if you can. If not, you'll find it eventually. So kind of rambled on about those two stories about everything, about traveling when I was younger, but those are funny stories. And let's see if I had anything else. Yes, a lot going on. I guess the NBA season's over. Toronto Raptors, thank God, closed it out against the Warriors. Definitely would have lost that series had the Warriors been healthy, but I'm glad someone else is carrying the torch this year. I'm sick of seeing the Warriors win, and I'm sure everyone, I hated the Miami dynasty with LeBron. I'm sure there's people that love the Warriors and everything, but it was good to see them lose and see the Raptors win. That was cool. But now it's heating up. Definitely have to get some Blazer tickets next year. See LeBron before he retires in a few years. Now they got Anthony Davis as well. So draft's actually going on right now as we speak. Shout out to Zion. Didn't really watch much college basketball, but I found myself keeping tabs on him this year. I talked about it earlier, but he was a fun dude to watch in college, and excited to watch him in the NBA. Maybe we'll get some Blazers, Pelicans tickets this year to see Zion. That'd be sick, actually. I want to do that more than see LeBron almost. So, shout out to them, NBA. Oh yeah, we started. Well, I didn't start it. So we were kind of looking for gyms for a while and started. Christy actually started at this gym down the street. It's not even a mile away from us. Woodstock CrossFit, and then it's called Alive MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, and stuff like that. So it's like a CrossFit plus like a boxing, Jiu-Jitsu, like stick fighting, and all those other stuff. Gym, Muay Thai gym. It's a pretty cool place. It's called CrossFit Woodstock. So she initially started, and then I went and did a class of the CrossFits, and now I'm working out there too. So if I'm looking a little beefy and a little like jacked, that's why, I do CrossFit. So see you at the games next year, maybe. Catch me on ESPN and the Reebok gear. But no, yeah, Christy's been killing it with her CrossFit, and she's really enjoying it. So I'm enjoying it too. Definitely good workout. Not super jacked up about some of the lifts. I don't like doing overhead snatches, overhead squats. I don't like any doing that, but it's nice they show you the workout before the day so you can kind of decide if you want to go or not. Maybe if the next day is going to be a lot of overhead snatches or things like that, you can skip or go in and do something else. So that's kind of nice, but it's nice being back in the group setting, and I know it really helps Christy out and it helps me out when you have other people's energy in the class. So shout out to the CrossFit community out there. Definitely a good community. Definitely still fun to make fun of. But we'll see. So it's getting us jacked. And coming up, and I'll probably try and do one more before that day. Coming up is Christy's 25th birthday here in 4 days. So June 24th. Make sure to shout out to Christy for her birthday, turning that quarter of a century old. And my birthday's coming up July 4th, too. Shout out to me, turning 29, almost at the midlife crisis. And also, first visitors, kind of. I guess my sister was here earlier this year, but got our first friends coming in about a week from Saturday. So the end of June, got my buddy Andrew and his girlfriend coming, Kimberly, and she's actually the one that made the Half the Story logo. So shout out to her. And we're actually doing a 3 or 4 day hike around Mount Hood. So Timberline Trail circumnavigates Mount Hood, which is the one of the mountains by Portland, about an hour away. So we're doing our first backpacking trip, taking everything on our backpacks. Got new sleeping bags, all those fun things. Gonna cook in the water and the things, and like stir it up and seal it and let it like cook. The dehydrated meals. Gonna do that whole thing, like boiling water on a little like jet and stuff. So we're doing the whole damn thing of backpacking. So definitely I'll probably have to talk about that after we're done. So that's a good 45 mile backpacking trip coming up. We're super excited because it's our first one here in Portland. But we're also excited for my buddy Andrew and his girlfriend to get here. And he and her, I'm sure, have a lot of backpacking experience. So we'll learn a lot from them and have a lot of fun with our friends coming to visit it. So if you ever want to come visit, you got the open invite. We got spare room. Love to have more friends and family come out and visit us. I know it's easier said than done, but you get a free place to stay when you get here. All you need is a plane ticket to come to Portland. So I think I'm going to end with that. Shout out to the SunCruz Aquasino. Shout out to traveling, job shadowing when you're younger, and not spending that bunch of money at a university. But I gotta think too. I know I say go to a community college because it's cheaper and you can get the same credits. Literally, I had a professor at UNI who taught at Hawkeye as well. So the professors at university, I would agree they're probably better and more qualified than the I definitely agree the professors at universities are better, but a lot of times you can get pretty close quality at the community college level. With that being said, the downside to community college is a lot of it is just in and out. Universities, you have a lot more potential for more networking, being in more groups, those kind of things. So just weigh your options. Either way you do it, you'll figure it out. And I think that's all I got for you today, guys. Went a little longer than usual, but I'm back and I'm at it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. This will be out on YouTube. It'll be out on SoundCloud. SoundCloud, and it'll be out on iTunes. I need to figure out maybe how to get it on Spotify as well. I'll admit I haven't looked into it, but hopefully I'll have one up soon before we go on our backpacking trip, and then I'll get one on after. But thanks for listening, guys. Hit the subscribe button on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on YouTube. Any subscribe, any like helps. I really want to be more consistent, and I know I say that every time I sound like a broken record, but I think I just need to do it. Pencil it in, maybe put it on my Google Calendar every week, that I have a date to do this. I think that would maybe help me a little bit. But other than that, guys, it was a pleasure, and I shall see you next time. This is Half the Story.